How's it going, guys? This is week number 5, day 3 still. This is afternoon session, so part 2. This is after that strength and conditioning. And apologies, by the way, if you hear any background noise. I'm in Australia again, and there's a lot of road traffic outside when I'm recording this. I need to get a microphone. But just on pads here with Ole, and it was good. He always holds a hard, firm pad. And basically what I noticed is my right kicks, if you see here, see my left leg is like turning in 2 movements. Pop, 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 pop. That's not a good thing. I need to try and train that out. I don't know how long that's been happening for. I don't know if it was fatigue this day or what, because I was kind of putting my heel on the ground. So that's something I've got to train out. It's not good. And, you know, to be honest, that's what a lot of this Thailand trip's been about, is raising up onto my ankle and toes and just getting that little bit of extra power on the kicks, a little bit of extra power on the knees. And I already knee and kick pretty hard, you know, but coming up onto that knee and coming up onto that toe, we'll just get that a little bit more out of it. So, yeah, but I've really felt... it's made me realise how weak my ankles actually are. So need to do something for that. I'm pretty sure my ankle stuff here is gout that's coming out. And basically, by the way, if anyone does have gout, there's a supplement called MSM. This dog. There was this smell that went over the gym, and it was absolutely gross. And this dog had actually brought in a rotten egg and cracked it on the mat. So we're all just like, what the hell's that smell? But we figured it out. But yeah, so if you do have gout, guys, MSM is like one of the only things that I found that works for gout, bursitis, inflammation, like arthritis, that kind of stuff. And I think basically what it is from memory, sulfur, mostly sulfate or sulfur or something like that powder. But yeah, you just take like a little teaspoon of it and it gets rid of all that crap, all that gout and everything, and it works pretty damn fast too, like within a couple of days. And yeah, that's basically my problem. I take it in Australia and I didn't even think to bring some over. And I went to the chemist to get some, and yeah, they didn't... they basically said, we got to order it in and this and that. And I thought, it might not get to me in time, so I didn't worry about it. So all this ankle stuff could have been solved if I just had that damn powder. So, but it's good stuff, guys. Head to the chemist if you got gout or bursitis or anything like that. But just on pads here, there is a mower and a whippersnipper or something outside. There's really no peace in Australia compared to Thailand. It's insane. So if you hear that, apologies. But basically, yeah, on pads of Crew V and working on 2 different things. The first one is just having free weight in my shots, letting my knees or my kicks fly through with heavy dead weight and come back with heavy dead weight, past my hip line. I said in another video, I'm kind of congesting my hip and holding things. And that's one thing. And the second thing is basically Crewyo translated for me because Crew V doesn't speak English. And basically, to my understanding, they were saying I'm analysing things too much. I'm not just sort of going. They can see that my brain ticks a lot because I'm thinking all the time. I'm setting things up. And the trouble with that is I'm lacking flow when I'm on the pads. And it is especially when I'm on the pads, because someone holds a pad up. The first thing you do is look at the pad and go, what are they holding? And then you have to hit it. And then you lose your flow. Or at least I do anyway. So this is why I love sparring and clinching, because I can just do what I want. I can just spar, I can clinch, I can move the way I want. But I personally find when I'm on pads, I'm stuck to the limitations of what that person's doing. It's like breathing in secondhand smoke instead of smoking your own cigarette. That's how I see it. It's like I'm waiting for them to do something so I can do something, and I've got to learn how to flow in that state. I can't, you can't have it the way you want all the time. So that's been good for me to try and get the hang of, is just flowing on pads with someone else. But I actually went on this insane rabbit hole years back about flow state. And there's a really good book on it if you're interested. It's called The Rise of Superman. And basically they're just making you aware of flow state and when it might be. And what it is, the book was about pro surfers, skiers, skateboarders, things like this, triggering flow state and just being superhuman, more or less, in that moment. And they explain it as getting into the zone. So they went on this basically radical thing where they were like, snowboarders were like just jumping off the side of cliffs in avalanches and stuff, trying to trigger that feeling, because they worked out that it happens in life or death situations. Like, I've been in a few car crashes, and just before the car hits you, I've been T-boned, and you see that the time just slows down. Like, it's so slow that you could pull out a board game and play it. It's crazy. And then next thing you know, it hits you. Like the car hits you or something. It's like a life and death thing. And other times you get it when you're just in the zone in the gym, or maybe you're running, or maybe you got music playing or something, and it just sort of puts you in a certain state and you do really well. And basically what the book's saying is that, I forget the number, it's like some ridiculous percentage, like over 100%. You progress over 100% more during flow state in whatever it is you're doing, because your capabilities just improve. You're just unlocking more of your brain, essentially. And one of the other ways you can trigger is by doing something not so easy that it's boring, but not so hard that it requires too much thought process. And I went on this goose chase to trigger flow. And when I trained at my old gym before I opened my own, I had my routine locked the hell in, where I would rock up 4 p.m. every single day at training. I had my run, this and that. I have a coffee before it, and I was just locked in. Food was the same, everything like that. And I worked out that if I listen to like a certain type of repetitive rap beat with no lyrics, I would kind of get this catchy beat ringing through my brain, and that would kind of set the pace for my brain. And then I'd get to training, and I found I was able to start to trigger my mind to do these flow states. And I kid you not, I got to this point where I was hitting, I guess, the zone, as they refer to it to, but I was hitting flow state every single day. And I noticed my progression was going up drastically in this time. And yeah, I think I just put it down to routine and just figuring out how to get my head in a certain state. But what's interesting about flow state is once you're in it, the moment you think about being in it, the realization of being in it kills it. So you've got to get your brain to balance the needle whilst you're in it for as long as you can. And this is something I still do to this day. When I'm running, I actually don't really focus on, how can I go further or anything like this, and mental toughness. I actually tap the state now. And it might sound ridiculous if you don't know anything about this, but I actually get to the point where I'll just be murderously sprinting, and I'm not even there. I feel like I'm a damn sound molecule or something. And it's like, yeah, it's all to do with that mindset. My last fight, I actually, when I was running to the training, I was actually just drilling the thoughts and the things that could tap a certain state. And I was going down this other book about triggers and things like this, and I ended up I found a way to trigger it, and I actually used it in my last fight, and I just walked through the bloke in about 90 seconds. And I remember when the ref stopped me and everything, and the cameraman was coming out and trying to, they were like, photo. And I was kind of like flashing in and out of this state. It was like, man, I just wanted to punch everybody in the ring at the time. It was the craziest feeling. And, and yeah, the brain's a powerful thing. But yeah, so if you're interested in flow states and that kind of stuff, definitely get onto that Rise of Superman book, because it will help make you aware of, that it's a thing. There's probably more science on it these days, but Yeah, I honestly believe it is Muay Thai's, believe it or not, it's only a small part of the game. I think it's like 90% mental. You know, it's just the physicality of it's, well, obviously you're doing something, but yeah, guys, this game's like 90% mental, I would say. So the better you can get at self-development, self-improvement, you know, getting over your own mind and mental state and your problems, that's how you get really good at Muay Thai, honestly. Like, is going down that mental route. And me personally, I actually, if you are got, you know, get Audible. Get Audible. It's an audiobook app. And Navy SEAL books are the best. I read so many Navy SEAL books. Like, when you think about it, we're Westerners, we're all Westerners. And the Navy SEALs, they've got a curriculum and an algorithm and psychological testing and everything that's backed for years. And they have a system that's just so ahead for Westerners to get into a place where they end up just brainwashing themselves into mental toughness. That's like the pinnacle of elite athlete mentality, in my personal opinion. So Navy SEAL books, guys, are excellent. If you do want any, hit me up. I got heaps. But yeah, anyway, so back to Muay Thai. The clinching, doing some clinching with Nick here today. He came back for a second day, which was awesome. So we got it in, got some more opportunities to clinch with someone bigger. Did a bit better today. Made sure I had water in my body, so that was cool. And I clinched with him for a long time, and actually clinched with one of the German blokes at the end, which I snipped out because it was pretty ordinary, honestly. Just, I think Lum Moon has a certain vibe at his gym. It's very, very like it's very traditional Thai stuff, you know. Some people sort of come in and their guns blazing, and you can tell they've been at like a real westernized gym, and they don't understand time. Lum the Moons is very slow, and if there's a lot of people in the gym, you're on the bag for 10 rounds, you're hitting pads for a while, and then you're clinching for a long time. It takes a long time to do the session if there's a lot of people, which is fine. I prefer it. But you can see when there's newcomers that have been at these big foreign gyms, they're sort of anxious and rushing. When am I on pads? And, you know, they don't have the patience for it, which is interesting. So, yeah, you can sort of feel that in the clinch with them. So it was very, like, muscling and kind of things like that. So it wasn't really an enjoyable way to end the clinch. But, yeah, clinch with Nick here was excellent, as I said last time. Actually, from memory coming up too, if you look at this little dump I do, he puts me in a dominant position, everything correct, and the mistake he makes is stepping on the inside of my foot right here we go. And then I get that little dump. Smallest imperfections come with the most catastrophic consequences. This little pull here, I've been working on them a lot. Basically, it's when you get the hand around the neck, and there's a few options I can do that Creo showed me now, and they are really effective because personally I like a little trifecta going on. I'll have a threat, and I like it to go one of three ways, because that means if they assume it's going to go one way, I take it the other way. If they assume it's going to go that way, I take it back to the first one. And if they assume one of those two, then I can always take it to a third one. So having that juggling, I guess, methodology, like a little trifecta of fuckery, is always a good thing, and it works really well with the pull and a couple little dumps I got going on already. So, and obviously being tall as well, obviously not quite as tall as Nick here, but people can't cross face me. They cannot cross face me because my arms are too long. So it'll actually go south for them. And look, truth be told, even people that are taller than me that can cross face me, I've had to teach people shorter than me cross faces and escapes from cross faces from me so often that I can just get out of cross faces anyway at this point. So yeah, guys, if you are watching this and you want to learn a couple of cross-face escapes or some more cross-face stuff, hit me up, because it's really necessary to know. It's probably one of the major go-tos you'll go to in clinching when people grab your neck, so it's good. But yeah, that brings the video to an end, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for day 4. Thanks for watching.